Welcome to Mobile by May. I'm Steve May, a residential realtor, a historic preservationist, and a licensed home builder in the state of Alabama. Please join us as we help to showcase all things Mobile, including preservation projects, real estate, Mobile history, and reimagining spaces with architectural salvage. If you're considering buying or selling, please give me a call. I'd love an opportunity to meet with you. You can call or email me below, and please like, share, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Hey, good morning, everybody. I am downtown on Government Street at the beautiful Street Methodist Church. We are going to be covering historic architecture and thought, what better way to start than these beautiful old churches downtown. This is an extremely unusual church. As you can see, it is Spanish colonial, but it has a lot of Baroque elements. And it was originally a medieval style church in the 1890s, and it was totally redone by our famous local architect, George Rogers, to incorporate a lot of these Baroque elements into the facade of this church. And what I want to do is talk about the symbolism and what a lot of these mean. As you can see, these front doors have these X's on the doors, which represent St. Andrew's cross, which is the state of Alabama's flag, which is the way the disciple Andrew was crucified diagonally. And you look over here at the base of this structure, you see the rounded elements here. That's an egg, which symbolizes creation, represents life. And then as you move up, these banded Doric columns tell a story as well. As you can see here, this is the Cairo, which is ancient symbol for Christ. And then here is a sarcophagus. So one represents life, one represents dust. It's your choice. And then you have this wonderful torch, which represents light. And then Jesus is represented in the reflection of that light and truth. And as you move up, it has what they're called Solomonic, like King Solomon's columns, which represents the struggle of life, the ups and downs of your faith journey. And then as you move up to the third level, you can see at the very top center is the crown. Look at that. So through Christ, the crown of life. And then at the top, you have some Egyptian elements. So you really have Italian, French, Phoenician with the shell, Egyptian. Got all these different elements all working together cohesively to tell a story about the faith journey. It's one of the things I love about architecture is a lot of these symbols actually mean different things. So we're covering these beautiful old churches in downtown Mobile, and just wanted to share this one and start out here because, you talk about the capstone and the cornerstone. The cornerstone, of course, is the most important. That's the first stone that's laid. Jesus, the cornerstone of your faith. And then you have the capstone that holds everything together. So he is beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega. But I just love how church architecture really inspires you, motivates you, really gets you excited, and puts you in that feel of awe of your faith. So I wanted to share this, and we're going to go inside and talk about the unbelievable fellowship hall and all the ornate plaster and everything that's incorporated into there. So I hope you can join us.
For 70 years, no one knew any of this was here. Right. No one saw the most magnificent aspect of the church. Why? Because in 1950, the church was so big, they needed more Sunday school space. So they built these Sunday school rooms around the outside here, and lo and behold, put in a dead popcorn ceiling at the top of this column here that ran across. And it was a steel beam, so we had to cut this steel beam into little pieces, because you can't imagine how heavy that was.
Yeah.
But a dadgum popcorn ceiling to totally obscure any of this. No one knew. They knew it was here, but no one could appreciate it. So we, through a number of generous donors, we ourselves went through this project. It took 4 years. And we took off the popcorn ceiling and and reconstruct it. What did we reconstruct in terms of the plasterwork? This is the amazing thing. All of this is original. Nothing has been changed here. Nothing has been done here differently. The only thing that was restored is over here. The single line of plaster, the cherubs up there. If you look at it, the cherubs. That was torn out for whatever reason, and we had a builder who actually took a mold of one of these sections, took it down to Mexico City, reconfigured it, the plaster mold, and made these separate sections, and then came back and put those back in to match exactly. But I want to just emphasize that all of this is original. It's not been repainted or anything like that. It's the original. And the glass, we'll talk about the glass in terms of the difference. It's not stained glass. It's medieval translucent glass. I'll explain that to you shortly when we get into the. But what is so interesting, in 1950, after the church council put in this popcorn ceiling, by their own admission, in one of the mementos that came back from the church council, said, "We have created a visual and acoustical nightmare." They themselves said, "Yeah, we did that," but the church didn't have the money for the next until we completed this project 3 years ago.
So I got a special treat this morning. This is an unbelievable church located in downtown Mobile on Government Street. It is on the National Register of Historic Places. I just want you to look at the facade of this church. It's one of the finest examples of Greek architecture in the entire country. And it's really unaltered, which is what's so unique about it. But look at these scored columns with the Ionic capitals. And it's really one of the earliest forms of Grecian temples with this distyle and antis, where you have the columns inset, and then you have these exterior walls that come out, these pilasters on the side. This has always just been such a magnificent church. I just love it. And look at the coffered ceilings up here as well. It really makes you feel like you're in Greece. With the dentil molding, it's just so simple and fine. Look at these paneled doors. These are massive. It has granite stairs. Actually has a basement as well on granite. And one of the things that I love about Greek architecture is, if you notice these scored ashlar, if you notice that looks like stone, it's actually brick with stucco, and they scored these to make it simulate stone, because you really don't want to have any seams, because that's you're trying to simulate, an old Grecian structure. And so even when you have wood homes like mine, they want to try to replicate it where you just don't have as many seams, so it looks like stone. And but this is an unbelievable church, and we're so fortunate to have something so old, 1836, and so well taken care of. And look at the cast iron work. It's beautiful gate with the fleur-de-lis symbol, and this congregation dates all the way back to 1831. But look at the pilasters along the side with these gorgeous stained glass windows. Just a really stunning setting here, and just trying to show different styles of architecture. What better place to showcase that than churches, because they're designed to be beautiful and awe-inspiring and connect you closer to God. But look at that. I just love it. And this was some of the most famous local architects we had, James Gallier and the Dakin brothers, Charles and James Dakin. And they were from the Greek Revival School, and up north, and resettled down here. Did some other wonderful buildings in New Orleans as well. But anyway, I hope y'all are enjoying this. Just wanted to kind of showcase the beauty. Of course, it's got this beautiful live oak tree. It's like a candelabra wrapped around it. Just makes just a kind of an ancient beauty here.
Okay, y'all, so we're in the interior of this fabulous Greek Revival Church on Government Street. This is Government Street Presbyterian from 1837. It is unaltered, which is so unusual. None of the interior has been changed. And look at the ceiling with this coffered diamond pattern ceiling. I'm just in love with that. But look at the architecture detail in this church. Look at this colonnade here. It's almost Egyptian with the way that it's encased here with this colonnade. Look at the sides here. And then you've got this dentil molding, this anthemion, and then you've got rosettes, dental molding. You've just got so much to look at in here, and the proportion of it is just spectacular. And it's actually framed by these Tiffany style urns on either side. And it's got Greek key symbols with these Tower of the Wind columns, which is from Athens, Greece. But I wanted to show you, I just love church architecture because it's really the height of beauty. And look at the organs in the back here. Wow. There's just such a beautiful aesthetic in here to worship, and it just really kind of brings you in. It's just so captivating and timeless. And I wanted to share with you all the interior of this. I really appreciate them allowing us to showcase this church, because this is, as I said, one of the finest examples of Greek architecture in the entire country. And look at all the stained glass window. I mean, it just really kind of takes you back in time. So, the focus of this podcast, we're really just trying to feature all the beautiful historic churches, the different styles. We've covered Greek, the Greek Orthodox, the Spanish, and Catholic. So we've got just a wonderful wealth of different influences here in our city. And I think it's so fascinating to kind of understand where these designs came from and what they mean, because there's so much meaning behind architecture. Even, with the cornerstone, which is the first stone that's laid for the foundation of a church. Of course, Jesus was the cornerstone, and he's also the capstone, which is the stone that holds everything together. And I love that about architecture, because so much of what we look at and what we view, it's so beautiful. It actually means something as well, like these rosettes with the flowers. And so it just tells a story about the people and the time and the craftsmanship. And man, this is a lost art. I mean, a lot of this type artisan work with this stiff Tiffany windows and things are just, really hard to come by anymore today. Hey, y'all, we are downtown Mobile at the Cathedral Basilica of the Immaculate Conception. It is a stunning Catholic cathedral downtown, and we thought this would be an amazing place to show you, because this is the oldest parish along the Gulf Coast. Mobile was founded by the French in 1702, and this parish was founded in 1703. And this is a Greek Revival church with kind of the Roman Basilica design floor plan of it. But I wanted to show you all these wonderful historic elements here with this cast iron fence, which is amazing. But look at these. These are 60-foot tall granite columns. These are scored and Doric type columns, and it's just so, the scale of it is just so monumental. And I love these gates. Part of what I love about old things is the craftsmanship and the design. But look at this. Look at the beauty of that. Let me go up here and just kind of give you the scale of what you doing? Of these columns. I mean, you see the scale of, look how high these things are. And if you notice, the ceiling is what they call a coffered ceiling. If you come on up here, I was trying to show you the way these coffered ceilings and why they were designed that way, because the weight of it, they have to do it that way because it's so heavy, but it supports all the weight. So look at these 3, 4, 5, 8. So 10 of these giant scored columns. And then look at the doorway here with the granite. This is a granite door casing. That is amazing. And then you've got these doors, which have got to be about 15 feet tall. Look at this scale of these things. So, Mobile has such a rich history with being discovered by the French. And then this was given the name of the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception by the Spanish. We were occupied by the Spanish in 1781. And then the first bishop, we're going to show you his house, Bishop Portier, he was from France. So we've got so many like Creole, different influences in Mobile, which is really neat. And look at the stained glass window. And just everything, the design and the style and the artisans And the craftsmanship is really just old world. This is not anything that you would see in today's world. And this door is about 4 inches thick. I mean, special treat. Let's go inside and show you how beautiful this cathedral is. So the ceiling, look at this barrel vaulted ceiling with the colors and everything. It's just magnificent. And so it has the fleur-de-lis, which is reminiscent of the French. That's the iris, the flower of the iris. And then you have the shamrock. And so it represents the Trinity. And then got this beautiful, look at these Corinthian columns on this colonnade with the gilded capitals. And the neat thing is every one of these stained glass windows in here is a scene with Mary and Jesus. So it really tells a story about his life and her life. And it's just so magnificent. Even these corbels, look at these gilded corbels up here. So again, the reason we're focused on historic churches here is because it's really the zenith of architecture. You know, it's supposed to make it feel like you're getting closer to heaven. But even look at the wallpaper on the back. Look at that. It's all fleur-de-lis and the marble columns. I mean, it's really fascinating because it's been through fires, floods. There was even an airplane that hit one of the towers in World War II, flying too low. So it has such a rich story to tell. And all these stained glass windows, I just think about the labor that it must have taken to construct something like this. It's really phenomenal. But look at the size of this door. Gosh. Look at that's what I'm talking about, that coffered ceiling. Isn't that something? So, and then of course it's framed by these beautiful live oak trees on either side that have just kind of wrapped themselves around the corners of the church. And this is Cathedral Square out front here. This is where we have a lot of concerts and public kind of get-togethers. There's a colonnade over there. But I kind of wanted to show you, there's our skyline there. I wanted you to kind of be able to see it from here. If you look at the towers, they're gilded with the crosses on the very tops of both of these towers. And then you have all this dentil molding and everything's so proportionate and symmetrical and just beautiful. I mean, the eye that they had to design these structures is just really magnificent. So I wanted to show you, this is the Bishop Portier house. This was the first bishop of Mobile, and he was actually from France. And this is a Creole cottage. It's a very French-influenced neoclassical cottage. And it's got this walled garden, which you just don't see anymore. This is old Mobile brick, had privacy, gardens. And this was built in 1833. And look at these dormers, how detailed they are. And then you have, look at the door casing right here with the original front door. Isn't that amazing? So, really what we try to do on this podcast, we're just trying to feature and showcase as much of the historic nature of the buildings and the history of the area. And, just so people can appreciate it and kind of preserve it for future generations, because it really gives us a sense of place for us to understand how we got to be here, how our city, how it's constructed this way, and the different influences that affected that.
So we are here at the Annunciation of the Greek Orthodox Church on Ann Street in downtown Mobile, and thought this would be a wonderful place to show you some of this beautiful architecture and start out with this dome. Look at this, how gorgeous that is, with Jesus at the top. And the dome represents
heaven. And so the church is laid out like a cruciform in the shape of a cross. And then you have all the different icons in the Orthodox Church where they have the disciples and Jesus and Mary, the mother, here, which is just so fascinating to me how we worship in so many different ways. And I think it's so important to recognize that and talk about the diversity of our faith. But look at these stained glass windows. Look at how beautiful that is. And one of the things that I really like about, one of the cool things about this church is they've actually taken parts of old buildings and have used those in the church. So look at this glass, this is etched glass. This is from an old bank building downtown that was torn down, and they ended up reusing that into the church. So again, some of the history of the city is combined into the actual church, and it's just all this beautiful carvings and look at the cross, and I mean it's just so ornate. It's really a beautiful scene, and then it's got just unbelievable stained glass windows in here where the light just comes through. It's just so gorgeous with these chandeliers, and really appreciate them allowing us the opportunity to come in here and share this with everyone, because we're showing all different types of churches that we're covering and some of the different influences that come with that. And it's just really a beautiful spot to worship, and it's just full of really splendor, and the aesthetic in here is just gorgeous. And so it's just really awe-inspiring to come here and worship. So thank y'all for joining us. We're going to be covering some other churches in this episode and talking about some of the etymology behind some of the architectural terms that we use and why that's so important.
Thank you for listening to Mobile by May. Please make sure to leave us a review on the podcast platform. Share with your friends on social media. We love questions, so feel free to text us at 601-955-3490 or smay@samwinter.com. You can also follow Steve May on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.